Hey guys, so this is going to be my labor and delivery video. I'll go ahead and start where I left off with my last vlog at 38 weeks. So that was a week ago Monday. So I went to the doctor that day and she checked me and I was a little over 1 centimeter dilated and 75% effaced. She didn't do a full membrane sweep, but she did what she called just stretching things out up there. So, the next day, Tuesday, I started losing my mucus plug. I lost most of it that day, and then I continued to lose the rest of it on Wednesday. And then, on Thursday, it was really weird. Normally, I would sleep in really late, but I was just full of energy that day, and I woke up really early, so I ate some breakfast and went right back to bed. And then around 9 a.m., I was woken up by some gas-like pains or like period cramps. I wasn't sure what was going on. I just knew that I was feeling a little crampy. So I went ahead and started to time them, and they were about a half hour apart. And at that point, I was hesitant to call them contractions just because I don't know, I've never had them before, so I wasn't really sure what to look for, but it was like a cramping pain that down low and in my lower back, and like my belly would like change shapes and get really tight on top and kind of like turn into a square, if that makes any sense. So I was pretty sure I was having like mini contractions, and then they were pretty irregular throughout the day. Like they were anywhere from a half hour apart to an hour and a half apart, and then they would just stop for a few hours altogether. And so it was just really, really irregular. And then that day I had like a hair appointment. I wanted to get my hair cut before the baby came. And when I got home from that, I went to the bathroom, and when I wiped, I saw like blood-tinged mucus. I wouldn't call it like a bloody show though, because it was like light pink. It was spotting basically. And so at that point I knew something was going on. I didn't know if labor was right around the corner, if it was a few days away. I just knew that I was headed in that direction. So that night I tried to have my husband time the contractions, and the closest they got to together was like 17 minutes, and that was around like 12:30 a.m. So we just decided to go to sleep because they didn't seem to be too consistent and that close together. And he told me to wake him up if they started back up again. So I think it was around, I remember this very vividly, like opening my eyes and looking at the alarm clock, and it was 3:35 a.m. and I was woken up by pain. I was having, contractions, and I'd probably been having them in my sleep, but they had just gotten strong enough to the point where I like woke up from it. So I tried to time them myself, and they were about 8 minutes apart. So I woke my husband up, and he took over timing them, and for a while they were anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes apart. They lasted for like 30 seconds to a minute, and over the next like hour and a half he had me get in the bathtub, which helped a lot. And he called the hospital, and they said that if they were 5 minutes apart for at least an hour, to just go ahead and come on in. So I think it was around probably 5 a.m. They were 5 minutes apart, and I was having trouble timing them because like 2 minutes after I had a contraction, I would have like another mini contraction that didn't last as long and wasn't as painful. And then eventually that like mini contraction became like just as painful as the one before it, and then I ended up being like 2 to 3 minutes apart. So I think it was like 6:30 a.m. we were on our way to the hospital. Finally got checked in and admitted by like 7:30. And so they went ahead and checked me. I was 3 centimeters dilated and 100% effaced when they checked me when I first got there. At this point, the contractions were pretty intense. They were surprisingly not as bad as I thought they would be, and I, of course, looking back, saying that in the moment, I'm sure they seemed worse than they do looking back, but I don't know, they were just, I just breathed through them, and then they would pass, and I don't know, I guess I imagined it being a lot harder than it was, so, but at some point I did ask for an epidural, and the nurse said she, would like to see me get to 4 centimeters before we do that, so, excuse me. So we had to wait a little bit. She gave me some stuff. What did she give me? What is it called? Stadol. I'm not really sure what kind of pain medication that is, but I wasn't really expecting it to work, but it totally did. It did take the edge off. I could still feel my contractions and everything, but it just made them a little bit less intense, like they were before we left the house. It also made me really drowsy and kind of loopy. Like my husband, we tried to film some of the labor, but I was just like too loopy at that point. And also he was too busy updating my Facebook and Twitter and updating all my family and friends and everything too. So we didn't really film too much of the labor, but anyways, so when I was at 4 centimeters, they went ahead and gave me the epidural, and after that they broke my water just to kind of keep the contractions moving along, which was nice. They didn't give me any Pitocin, and I didn't end up needing any Pitocin to keep the contractions going. And I don't really know like the time frame of like when I was at how many centimeters, so bear with me here, but I think it was around noon I was 6 centimeters. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, the breaking my water really helped me just kind of keep progressing along. And I think it was probably around 1:30 I was at 8 centimeters, so, and then after that everything just moved really fast. Like, I was at 9, like less than 30 minutes after that. It was crazy. He kept wiggling around in my stomach, so the monitor like couldn't follow him, I guess, so they had to do like an internal monitor on him, and when they put that on him, that's when they noticed I was 9 centimeters. Like, it was less than a half hour, honestly. And then before we knew it, I was at 10, and it was time to push. It was like a kind of like a sensation, like you have to go have a bowel movement, and yeah, so I just knew when it was time to push. It was just a really weird feeling. I don't think I pushed more than 45 minutes before he was born. It like the whole thing happened really fast, and I was like shocked. I thought first time births they took 24 hours or something, and this happened in like 12, so that was crazy. When I guess he had his cord wrapped around his neck because his heart rate would go down when I had a contraction, but luckily it recovered every time the contraction ended, so they weren't too worried about it, but they went ahead and gave me oxygen in between contractions just to kind of help him out a little bit. And then when I was pushing him out, it was weird. It happened so fast that my doctor we had to wait on her to finish delivering another woman in the other room, who happened to be my original OB, by the way, who gave birth like 6 minutes before me. But anyways, yeah, so we had to wait on her, and then we got in, and when she got in, she put her scrubs on right away, and yeah, it was go time. And I did end up tearing. I knew as it was happening that I was tearing. Like I said, I had the epidural, so I didn't really feel much of it. But I had a 2nd degree tear. Didn't end up having an episiotomy though. So yeah, he was born at 3:14 p.m. and he weighed 8 pounds even and 21 inches long. So yeah, that's pretty much my labor and delivery story. There's not a whole lot to say about it, just because it went so smoothly and it went so fast, and like, it was honestly, I don't think it could have gone any better. Like, I'm really, really happy with how it went. And I don't know. I'll see you guys soon. Oh, wait. I want to show you guys my baby. So here he is. I'll just show you guys. He's taking a little snooze right now between feedings. Aren't you, boo-boo? You knocked out, huh? Yeah. So anyways, so that's my labor and delivery story, and I'll try to get my other updates up soon, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.